A show created by the fans, for the fans. We are your home for Ohio State football coverage all year long. The Scarlet and Gray Podcast, a Network 216 production. Live weekdays on the Network 216 YouTube channel. Send us all your questions and comments on Twitter at @VSG_podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Tyler Johnson, Jordan Dalton, and Nick Leisure.
Good evening, Buckeye Nation. Welcome to tonight's episode of the Scarlet and Gray Podcast. I am Tyler Johnson, going solo for this episode, recapping the Buckeyes' victory over Grambling State. Of course, just talking some of the upcoming college football matchups this weekend. Before we get to any of it, if you would just take a quick second and drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you are brand new to the channel as well. When you like a video for YouTube, it really helps push the show out to those that have not yet seen the Scarlet and Gray Podcast. But also, you can listen to the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And I just want to thank everyone that's been going over to Apple Podcasts, giving us that 5-star review. Like I said, we had a bunch of Michigan fans that completely tanked the overall rating of the show and just gave it 1 star, but it's climbing back up, and that's all because of you guys now. We have, I believe, 45 people total that have gone on and given us a 5-star review. So if you haven't done so, it literally takes 10 seconds. I can tell you for sure. You don't have to write anything unless you want to write some kind words for us, but just going over, dropping a like on the video, subscribing if you're new to the channel. We really would appreciate that. And then we are available, like I said, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So feel free to go give us a 5-star review over there. And the Scarlet and Gray Podcast is proud to be partnered with Wedgewood Estates in Mansfield, 600 South Trimble Rd. Wedgewood Estates, the area's premier senior residential community. Go ahead and check them out at wedgewoodseniorliving.com. That's wedgewoodseniorliving.com. Of course, I want to thank you all that are joining on this evening. I know there's been, of course, just a lot of news just today. First off, just want to say with the school shooting that's taken place, just prayers for those families that are involved in just that horrific incident, but also just the shooting with Charlie Kirk. Prayers as well to his family and everyone involved there. No matter what side of the political spectrum you are on, we never want to see that type of violence, and it's really it's sad. Just the world that we live in. Obviously, we don't talk politics on the show, but when 2 horrific incidents occur like that during the day, just want to make sure we are sending our thoughts and prayers. Because on our end, of course, that's all we can do is just say a prayer for them and just be with those families and all those that are affected. But there is a game to talk about, and I want to make sure I get to it. Ohio State took on Grambling State this past weekend. The result kind of went exactly as you would expect. Ohio State absolutely crushed Grambling State 70-0. You know, I was telling my wife this. When you see matchups like this, you do feel bad for the program that you're playing against, but then you realize they are getting a pretty significant payday in order to play this game. So it is what it is. I mean, the last thing, of course, you want to see then is any injuries for Grambling. But the Buckeyes absolutely dominated this game from start to finish. I think there's absolutely no denying that. I told people on Twitter, and I apologize, because if you went against my advice, you didn't win any money. I said betting on a 56-point spread, like just taking the points, like the minus 56, is just not a smart way to do things. I'm not a sports bettor. I just thought the scoreboard, I'm like, man, Ohio State going to put up more than that. And, I mean, they were pedal to the metal from the get-go in this game. It was absolutely just incredible. I mean, you had Julian Sayin with 300 yards in the first half, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 18 of 19 throwing the football. He set the Ohio State record for most consecutive completions to start a game, which, funny enough, was actually Will Howard had that record for not even a full season. So congrats to Julian on that. And I told some of my buddies off air that Julian Sayin doing it is more impressive, not from the level of opponent he was facing, but the level of difficulty on the throws. And you could say, oh, it's Grambling State, it's this and that. But the difficulty on some of the deep balls and just the placement to Cardinal Tate in the back of the end zone. Some of the throws that he was making are just next level. And I think it's just important to recognize that. I see so many people, and not even necessarily Ohio State fans, just people in general saying, well, it's Grambling State. It's not really that impressive. You either can throw the ball or you can't, and Julian Sayin absolutely has that ability. So I just think it's important just to acknowledge that. I mean, he was absolutely just fantastic in this game. Appreciate it, Steve. Salute to you as well, sir. Appreciate you joining us. If anyone has any questions, since I am doing this show solo, feel free to drop any questions you guys have in the chat. I really would appreciate that. I'll get to as many as I can. Last solo episode we had, you guys asked a lot of questions, which I love. So feel free to drop any if you have them. But yeah, Julian Sayin was fantastic in this game. He threw the interception. He probably shouldn't have thrown that football. He could have thrown it earlier, and then maybe it actually is a touchdown. Would have been his fifth. His fifth touchdown at that time. But we're nitpicking. He's gonna throw interceptions, and we're naive to think that he wouldn't throw them. So just everyone keep that in mind. It doesn't bother me. If anything, I like to see the aggressiveness. That's just me personally. I want to see my quarterback aggressive, and if he throws an interception doing that, so be it. If you throw an aggressive interception, regardless of score, yeah, there's some cases you shouldn't throw it, but I'd rather have my quarterback be aggressive than be too conservative. I feel like sometimes that happens. It's just being too conservative. So I loved his performance, and I thought the other thing on the offensive side, because we're just going to dive into some stats here, because there really isn't a lot of takeaways. Just it was a domination, so we're just going to hit on some key points here. James Peoples, 8 carries, 59 yards. If you looked carefully in this game, he was the main one when it comes to – it was mainly him in the backfield. Whether he got the carry or not, you did not see a lot of Donaldson. He did have 5 carries, but I think it's important to know that Donaldson really was not involved a ton in this game, even though he did have a touchdown. But I think it's fair to say everyone had a touchdown in this game, it feels like. So it is what it is. The big takeaway for me is that I think we have a running back on this roster that needs to be getting starter reps or close to it. I said on Twitter, and you can follow us if you haven't done so already at the SG_podcast on Twitter. Bo Jackson needs to be getting starter reps. I know the competition wasn't heavy with Grambling. Like, I understand that. Let me just say that. I understand the level of competition was not good. Like, it wasn't. Let me just say that. It's not disrespecting the Grambling. We wish them a successful season. They're just nowhere close to even a mid-power 4 level team. And Bo Jackson absolutely looked fantastic in this game. 9 carries, 108 yards, 1 touchdown, 12 yards per carry, 51-yard run. There was a run when he was near the red zone where he sliced and diced between the defense and barely got touched. And I was thinking to myself, I don't really care what level the competition is. The vision he has and his quick ability to find the lane, regardless if it's slightly open for a second or not, is something I feel like no one else on this roster has. You have CJ Donaldson. He's a guy that's just going to flat out run you over. James Peoples, I need to see more from, because against Texas, I didn't see him hit the hole. Especially, I haven't seen any running back hit the hole the way Bo Jackson did again on Saturday. That's just I haven't seen it yet. I thought his ability, he is the most talented running back on this roster. I firmly believe it, regardless of the level of competition. I wonder if maybe the pass blocking isn't where it needs to be yet, and that's not a surprise. He's a true freshman. I mean, that's something that can take time to build, but I feel like the level of talent, he needs to be getting reps with the ones. And I'm hoping as we start to progress to the Big Ten schedule coming up, maybe when we get later into the college football playoff, into the postseason, that he is in that picture. I feel like if he's not, it's doing a disservice to the rest of the team, because I'm not saying Donaldson and Peoples aren't enough, but I feel like Jackson gives you the explosiveness that I feel like this running game is currently missing. And I'm not seeing it so far. Even with James Peoples, there are just some scenarios where I'm not seeing that. And there's a lot of expectations from James Peoples. I placed it on him. I know a lot of others did as well. I just don't know if he can be that true bell cow. And I don't think they're going to have a true bell cow this year. I think when you brought in Donaldson, you kind of made it clear how this was going to go because Donaldson's never been a guy that's consistently rushing for over 1,000 yards like Quinshawn Judkins was, or Travion Henderson, even though he was injured in the past, was capable of doing. So I just think Bo Jackson needs to be involved in this offense moving forward. And if it's not, I just believe that's a mistake. And if it is the pass blocking, I can say for certain that wouldn't surprise me. That's why Dallin Hayden, Dalen, however you pronounce his name, that's a big reason why he did not receive playing time at Ohio State. I believe he was one of the more talented backs at the time, given it was Mine Williams, Chip Trainum were the guys that were healthy. Travion was battling injuries. And Hayden wasn't playing a lot, and turns out he had issues pass blocking, and that's ultimately what contributed there. So I just think if that's the issue with Bo Jackson, then I understand it, and I'm cool with that. But if it's not an issue and he's not getting touches specifically just because you got to get Donaldson, who's a transfer, more carries, or get Peoples maybe because you're paying Peoples a little bit more money, and then Bo Jackson, you got to get him more carries. I just think that's doing a disservice to the rest of the team. I don't think Ryan Day would do that at this point because he's playing the best players. It really seems that way to me. But so far, I just hope that Bo Jackson is more involved in the offense moving forward. The other takeaway, Jeremiah Smith is just still fantastic. 5 catches, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns, 23.8 yards per reception. Longest touchdown in Ohio State passing touchdown in Ohio State history, 87 yards. I'm not surprised that Jeremiah Smith set that record. Just incredible talent he is. But the guy that just continues to put up numbers and would be a wide receiver, would be a number one wide receiver pretty much on any other team in the country is Carnell Tate. 5 catches, 69 yards, a touchdown, 13.8 yards per reception. That throw, like I said, I hit on it earlier. Julian Sayin had to him in the back corner of the end zone, was just fantastic. And those are just the type of plays Julian can make. But also Carnell Tate, he has been on a great run to start the season. Really hope that continues because I do believe you're looking at the next first round pick for Brian Hartline. That is Carnell Tate. I think the other big takeaway here is just seeing the tight end involvement being Will Kazmarek, Jelani Thurman. Now, Jelani's was a little bit more in garbage time, but still, Kazmarek, 2 catches, 55 yards, a touchdown. Jelani Thurman, 3 catches, 44 yards, a touchdown. Max Clare, 1 reception for 7 yards. I'm not sounding the alarm on Max Clare. I'm wondering if there's a little bit something more there. It seems Kazmarek is more of the tight end one at this point. I don't know if that's truly the case or if it's just based off game plan or I don't know. Max Clare is going into the season as, if not one of the best tight ends in the 2026 NFL draft class in that projection. We'll see. We'll see. I think he's still going to play a big role, but I just think in the early indication, Will Kazmarek's definitely going to be a factor, and I think his improvement from last year, this year has really shown. And if he continues to grow in the passing game, he's just going to play more and more. And then Jelani Thurman, it sounds like he's been fantastic. He graded out as the highest Buckeye in Pro Football Focus on offense. Now he didn't play as many snaps, but still, Jelani's taken a couple big steps forward. You saw Nate Roberts get time as well in this game. Dropped the pass. It could have been a little bit better, but he did drop it. He's going to play too. Keenan Bailey's done a great job building out that tight end room, so just have to give him credit where it's due. And then real quick on the offense, I thought it was great seeing Isaiah West get in the game a little bit. 8 carries, 42 yards, a touchdown, 5.3 yards a carry. Sam Williams-Dixon got in 3 carries for 9 yards. It was nice to see some of these other guys get in. Lincoln Keenhold, 6 of 7, 71 yards, his first career touchdown pass to Jelani Thurman. I think it's good to know you do have a solid backup there, and he did grade out as a champion, according to Ryan Day. So just overall, he played well. And then in the passing game, David Adolph getting some time. That's always really cool to see. Bryson Rogers, 2 catches, 22 yards. I think he's going to be more involved as the season goes on. I don't necessarily mean in the passing game, but he might get more involved as a return man. I know Ryan Day has said that position is still something they're trying to figure out. So we'll see how that ends up working itself out. And then the big debate is Mylan Graham or Brandon Enos. Brandon Enos, 3 catch, 29 yards. Mylan Graham, 1 catch, 23 yards. Some believe if you play Mylan Graham, you get more explosiveness out of the wide receiver 3 position. I still just don't know at this point when it comes to that, because we haven't seen a lot of Enos, to be fair. I mean, we've seen, some would say we've seen enough. He really has not been involved to an extent. Like, I mean, even since he's been a starter, we didn't throw it a ton against Texas. He was involved on the very first drive of the game. I just think there's more there. I know some say he's the next Julian Fleming. I don't think that's fair to make that comparison right now. Let's see as the season progresses. I posted a Twitter question, and a lot of people commented on it, so appreciate all the engagement with that. What's more likely? Mylan Graham is replacing Brandon Enos by the end of the season, or Bo Jackson is the starting running back, or getting the majority of the reps as a starting running back. I think for me, it's still Bo Jackson, because I feel like the backfield is not settled. Some say, well, the wide receiver position isn't. I just think it is. I think Hartline likes those 3. Rotate Mylan Graham in there from time to time, but Mylan Graham's probably going to have to wait his turn. That it just appears right now that's the scenario that's unfolding. So we'll see what ends up happening at the wide receiver position, but I think it's going to stay pretty consistent with Jeremiah, Cornell, and Brandon Enos. I want to move to the defensive side of the ball. First off, just some fantastic performances. Caleb Downs was great in this game. I know that's such a shock to everybody. He only had 2 tackles, one of them solo, but of course, one of those was a tackle for loss, and he had an interception. An interception that ball looked like it was coming I know I'm exaggerating, at 100 miles an hour, and he's just ready, and he falls right to the ground, but catches it. Incredible play by Caleb Downs. He's the best safety in college football, one of the best players in college football. So I don't think I really need to talk more about him. Overall, the guys I want to talk about are all young guys. I loved what I saw from Riley Pettijohn. I've told you guys for a while about Pettijohn. You really need to just keep an eye on this kid. 5-star linebacker from Texas. Very fast for the position. What James Laurinaitis, I almost said Brian Hartline, because that's what he seems to be recruiting like these days. But James Laurinaitis, what he's building at the linebacker position is incredible. Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, Riley Pettijohn, Peyton Pierce, TJ Alford. We've got some playing time on Saturday as well, linebacker from Florida. So the talent at the position is just remarkable. I don't know how much Pettijohn really is going to play outside, at least on defense, outside some garbage time, maybe when there's an injury. But he should be. He is that athletic and can make that much of a difference. He's just an electric player. And his touchdown was incredible. Great awareness there. He also forced the fumble. Overall, just a fantastic, fantastic play. And I think the other thing is just when you look at this defense, Fahim Delane, he had 2 tackles in this game. Zion Grady had his first career sack. I just think this class has a whole lot of potential that we still haven't seen, and that we will see as the year goes on. Because I do think some of these freshmen are going to have to be contributors by the end of the season. That's just what I believe, because I just think that you need that talent, and to be able to have it all year is only going to really help the team moving forward. So, as far as the rest of the defense, I'm trading off some stats. Peyton Pierce led the Buckeyes in tackles, 6 tackles, 2 solo. I see some people talking down on him a little bit. I mean, James Laurinaitis said they have 3 starting linebackers, and Peyton Pierce is that their guy. I would trust James Laurinaitis. So far, he really seems to know what he's doing. His development has been fantastic since he's taken over as linebacker coach. He's been great on the recruiting trail. It's hard to argue with anything he's done so far. So just trust him on Peyton Pierce, and I do think you're going to see more of a rotation as the season goes on with him. Again, he's 6'2", 223. Might not look like it when you're next to Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese, but he's a good football player in his own right. So keep an eye on him. Caden Curry, 4 tackles, 4 solo, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. He clearly has manned that position, the defensive end position, over Bo Atkinson, which I think is interesting. Bo Atkinson did not record anything on Saturday. I didn't watch carefully enough to see if he just didn't play a lot of snaps or whatever the case may be. McCaden Curry clearly has that starting role unlocked along with Kenyatta Jackson Jr. And the one concern for me, and this is the one concern, some people are going to be like, just why are you doing this? Don't be negative. I'm not meant to be negative. You guys know this show. We're not here to be negative, but we are going to tell you our opinions, and you're either going to like it or you're going to hate it. And a lot of times, you're probably going to like it, but there are going to be sometimes you're going to hate it. And some people are going to hate this comment. But to me, the defensive line has not lived up to their potential. I think having 3 sacks in 2 games is pretty terrible with a group that is supposed to be pretty talented. You had 2 sacks against Grambling State. That's the part that kind of worries me. I know the quarterback was getting the ball out quick. It's Grambling State. I feel like you have to be putting more than 2 sacks out there. And I know one of the sacks didn't even come until you had a bunch of backups in there. So that's something that's starting to concern me a little bit. If we see it more against Ohio with the lack of sacks, I'm really going to start sounding the alarm because they need to get this settled before a Big Ten play. You don't want to get in a position where you're constantly have to sending a blitz in order to get pressure on the quarterback. And I'm seeing right now we're starting to struggle a little bit with getting pressure onto the quarterback, and I need to see it resulting in sacks. So that's how I feel. I know some people are going to disagree. Some people are going to come at me in the comment section. Like, all people are going to say things, but right now I need that to improve. That is the biggest question for me moving forward with this team. Is the defensive line able to produce the sacks that are going to be needed at some point this season? So keep an eye on the defensive line. I want to see more from Kenyatta Jackson Jr. I want to see more. Caden Curry, like I said, played well. I want to see Bo Atkinson. I know Georgia was interested in him. Ohio State got him here. I need to see more from the North Carolina transfer. Logan George, Idaho State transfer. Ryan Day hinted it sounds like he is going to be available this week. I want to see what he can do. I know people laugh when you're saying, oh, an FCS guy. Ohio State recruited him. They clearly saw something there to add him from the transfer portal. So let's see what he can do. But either way, I just need to see more production out of the position. As far as overall with this game, again, it went about as you would expected. I think that's the fair way to put it. It went exactly as you would expect, a 70-0 victory. Second most points scored in Ohio State history. So I know the opponent wasn't good, but still, again, second most points ever scored. The most was 72-0 over Pitt. I forget what year it was, but that's basically why Mark May hates Ohio State. It's just because his Pittsburgh team was absolutely terrible against the Buckeyes. But moving on, I kind of just wanted to talk about just the overall college football weekend that is going to be ahead of us. We will not be doing picks this week just because Nick's not on the show. And I know they have some things going on in their personal life. So I'm not going to bother him for picks because that's just it's the least thing that's important right now, which is everything they got going on in their lives. But as far as picks from last week, I did end up going 4-2. Kentucky and SMU let me down. That Kentucky game was close for a little while. It was. SMU blew that game against Baylor. Not surprised when you're a Big 12 team. It's all about offense, no defense. So they blew it. But 4-2, I'll take that. Just some games that stand out to me this weekend, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Shorter show today, just because we're talking Grambling. So not as much to kind of discuss on that end of things, and I'm also doing it solo. So, yeah, just bear with me. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. We have well over 600 people. So first off, thank you guys. Really appreciate that. But actually, before we go ahead and talk just the matchups, if you guys would just go ahead. If you're watching on Twitter, I know majority of people are, go over to the YouTube channel, just drop a like. That's all I'm asking. Subscribe if you'd like to. I really would appreciate it, but you do not have to do that. Just like the video, help push the show out to those that have not yet seen the Scarlet and Gray podcast. But also for all of you, if we get even half of you just to go over to Apple, go over and search the Scarlet and Gray podcast, scroll all the way down to the bottom of our podcast page, click 5-star review. We really would appreciate that. Like I said, Michigan fans infiltrated that a while ago and completely tanked the overall rating. If we can get all you guys, half you guys, a quarter of you guys go over there, if you haven't done so, and just click 5 stars, it would mean more to me than words can express, and we really would appreciate that. So thank you guys so much for that. But yeah, the overall college football scoreboard this week. One game from the noon schedule that intrigues me. Well, it's actually 2, but not the one you're probably expecting me to say. 12th ranked Clemson going to Georgia Tech. Clemson looked really bad against Troy. They were down at the half. They got lucky that they were able to pull out that victory. So I have Clemson on upset alert this week at Georgia Tech. And if I was picking, I would pick Georgia Tech in this game. I know Clemson's got a good defense. We'll see if they bounce back on the road. Miami was ranked highly when they lost at Georgia Tech last year, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if Clemson lost this football game. Moving on, Wisconsin at Alabama. Crazier things have happened. I think Alabama is going to win this game by double digits. It's not a knock on Wisconsin. I just think Alabama, since that loss to Florida State, I think they'll just have something more important to play for, and they won't be taking this game lightly. Michigan's taking on Central Michigan, so good to see they're giving themselves a challenge after an embarrassing performance against Oklahoma. Georgia at Tennessee is where College Game Day will be this week. 3:30 kickoff. Georgia at Tennessee. I can easily say I've not watched either team this year. I'm gonna say though, up until they prove that they can beat consistently top SEC teams, I'm gonna go with Georgia in this game. Even though Joey Aguilar has been fantastic since he's gotten there, and funny enough, it seems like they've gotten the better quarterback from him and Nico Amilava. So that's kind of funny how that worked out. But yeah, I'm going to go with Georgia in this game. Like I said, these picks obviously won't count because Nick and I can't go against each other head to head. 4:30, the CW network. I have no idea why this is on the CW network. This is just weird as weird can be. 18th ranked South Florida is at 5th ranked Miami. Both teams are ranked in this game. South Florida's looked fantastic. They knocked off ranked Florida. They have 2 ranked wins to start the year. They destroyed Boise State. This team's for real. Bynum Brown and the Bulls. You know what? I think they do something we've never seen. I think they win 3 games in a row to start the season against ranked opponents. I got South Florida in this game. I'm taking the Bulls over Miami in one of the battles of Florida. Just a couple other games. 2 other games just that we'll briefly hit on here. Vanderbilt out 11th ranked South Carolina. I know that's a night game and it's always tough to play in Columbia, but Vanderbilt absolutely destroyed Virginia Tech. Diego Pavea, there's something about the kid. It doesn't matter who he's playing against. He's always making plays. He just carries this football team. And South Carolina did not look good last week. I'm still gonna go with the Gamecocks in this game because I just think Lenora Sellers will just be too much. That's just my opinion. And I think the Gamecocks with Dylan Stewart will be able to get to Pavia, but it wouldn't shock me if this game is close. And then the final game to talk about, Texas A&M, 16th ranked at number 8th ranked Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish coming off a bye week. Notre Dame's not winning this game unless Jeremiah Love is more involved. I don't know why he wasn't more involved against Miami. I have no clue. Marcel Reed going into a tough environment. I got Notre Dame. They're going to be at home. They're so tough to beat at home. And Texas A&M in these big games does not consistently deliver. So I'm going to go with the Fighting Irish. But I appreciate everyone that's tuning in this episode of Scarlet and Gray Podcast. 700 of you. So thank you guys so much for that support. Just so you know, our schedule, we will be doing your Ohio versus Ohio State game day preview that will be airing on Friday morning. Give you guys plenty of time with it being a night game to make sure you give that a listen. We'll be breaking down all the matchups in this game. Might be solo. Nick might be joining me. Either way, we're going to make sure we have that pod out for you guys. It also will be available on the YouTube channel, wherever you want to listen to the show, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. we're there for you. But thank you guys so much. This is the 100th episode of the show. I'm not sure if I clarified that at the beginning, but just thank you all so much for the support you've given us, the growth we've had over 3 years. Couldn't imagine it. Me and my closest friends from high school started this show just to talk Buckeye football, and you guys have really helped the show grow and made us one of the go-to places for Ohio State football content. So we really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for that. It really means a lot. But yeah, like I said, this show will be available tomorrow morning. If you missed any of it, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, 5-star review, all of you guys. I see you all. Go over, give us a 5-star review if you're on Spotify or Apple, especially Apple if you've not done so already. Really would appreciate that. But then on Friday morning, Ohio State versus Ohio game day preview. And then we'll be back next week. Appreciate everyone tuning in. We will look forward to talking with you again soon. And as always, go Buckeyes.